Alright, what's up guys? We're back to another video going over this game called Blue Protocol Star Resonance. Now this game comes out tomorrow, I believe. So I wanted to give you guys a little quick review on what you know what to expect. If you guys have a Crunchyroll account, you're most likely caught up with what this game is, but it's basically an anime MMORPG. So we have the release date October 9th. They did like a thank you for all the beta test players. So there's a lot of footage in case you guys do want to go ahead and catch up and check it out yourselves to see if you guys will like it. Today we'll be going over a rundown of what the game is, what to expect, as well as the people who played the beta, their personal reviews on the game, so we can get a sense of what we're diving into tomorrow. But we have this and Wuthering Waves, so I just wanted to make sure I covered this for you guys as well. Anime style visuals, dynamic combat systems, so there's different classes, we have talents, equipment, open world, deep character customization, multiplayer social experiences. If you were interested in that Ananta gameplay, this game would probably be a good hold off until that game fully comes out. But yeah, if you have a Crunchyroll account, you can get some extra goodies when this game officially goes live. So I'm excited for what this game has. There is there's some nice pre-registration rewards. I don't know when they're redeemable, probably when launch happens, but you can see that there is a milestone, so we can get some chests, some rose orbs, hairstyle vouchers, a pickup pup, so I don't know if we got like little pets that we can have. Now we're on to the classes. We have the Wind Knight. The role is the damage dealer. Unleash high speed strikes with exceptional mobility. You got the wind style or aerial style. He looks pretty sick. Dude got locks. I mess with it. I'm trying to look at the combo tech. Alright, so there is some projectiles that you can work with in case being up close is too risky. Then we have the marksman. This one kind of looks sick. I like it. We got the bows. Fight alongside a giant wolf that draws enemy attention and coordinates attacks with precision. So if you like Kiba, this builds, or Kakashi with his pets, it looks kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Falconry style. These are all DPS units. Then we have the Frost Mage. Oh, so there's some water magic with her too. Okay. It forces the next cutscene. It's crazy. So we have the Verdant Oracle healing style. So we have this. So yeah, this reminds me of that healing unit in Wuthering Waves. The girl that fights with the plants. The Shield Knight. Radiant Guard style. So we get tanky for sure. The Beat Performer. The Concerto style. This playstyle allows high number of attacks, instances, and converts damage into healing. Then we have the Block style. Oh, I don't know if he's supposed to be black, but hey, he looks sick. Damn, that was clean. Oh, this one's going to be a popular class. The Stormblade, the high difficulty of 4 stars, Moonblade style, Charge Strikes. And that seems to be all of the classes. We have some different maps that they have that you can check out. I'm trying to see if the background is changing when I select it, but I don't think it's updating with them. But yeah, we already got 6 different kingdoms. We can explore the open world, discover secrets, be whoever you want to be, so make your own hero, customizable. We have raids, and then yeah, a lot of socializing aspects that I think the game is going to have. I think these characters are probably the main characters for the story. If not, then these are some good character customization features that we can expect to see in the game. So I'm going to switch it over to the actual game file I can't play it yet. My start time won't be active until tomorrow, but you can see that we got a rundown of some of the gameplay. I like the little mount feature. What the fuck? Whoa, see, like different mounts. Okay, the mobility looks crazy. We got harvesting, okay, mining, fishing, squad looking dripped out. All right, so it says 38 minutes. I'm gonna have it preloaded for sure. I'll have this downloading for you guys for tomorrow's stream. But the raids look crazy. I'm excited to see how this game functions once it's officially out. They're out of beta, so let's see what they have to bring to the table. All of the gameplay footage that we're gonna go over today's video is beta footage too, so we're not even looking at the final build.
Of Magna.
Okay, sounds decent enough.
Out of the way, let's talk about the characters you'll be playing. Blue Protocol Star Residents give you a variety of classes, but I know not everyone wants to sit through an hour-long breakdown of every single talent tree, so instead we're gonna group them by roles, tank, support, and damage dealers, and give you a highlight so you can get a better feel of what fits you best. Starting with the tanks, the Shield Knight is the first option, and this is your classic frontline defender. You got the ability to block damage, reduce incoming hits, and even toss out some light healing to keep yourself going.
See,
one path leans into the tank identity, stacking defense and healing, while the other gives you a little bit more damage at the cost of being slightly less durable. Then you got the Heavy Guardian.
The problem is there's so many better looking ones that are going to come out.
Baked into it like the Shield Knight, but it makes up for it by grouping enemies together, soaking damage with simple, straightforward abilities. You can spec into pure defense and become a near immovable object, or choose a hybrid route that mixes in both some big damage while still keeping your shield up. Moving on to the more support roles, we got two very different flavors here. The Verdant Oracle is all about nature magic, and the beauty of this class is its flexibility. You can go heavy into healing using petals to empower your restoration spells, or shift to a more damage focused style with thorns and vines while still keeping your party alive.
Yeah, that's how I use.
The other side is the Soul Musician,
the
which
healing
is
unit
the most unique support in the
MMORPG.
game. You're literally rocking out with melodies that both damage enemies and heal allies at the same time.
They trying to be
One
Temple.
specialization is more damage oriented, where
Trying to be Temple,
while the other leans into strong support tools, making sure your team never drop during tough enemy encounters. And then of course we have the full damage dealers, which make up a bulk of the roster. The Frostmage give you that classic spellcaster fantasy, firing icy projectiles on the move or locking into place to channel devastating beams. If you prefer a higher risk, higher reward,
remember you can have different
the
accounts, meaning you can go with different classes.
All in on the katana style burst damage, or shifting into a scythe wielding specialization.
Ooh, that's the more popular one.
Marksman is the range physical DPS, and what makes it unique is that you're fighting alongside summoned animals, wolves for sustained single target pressure, or a falcon that procs off critical hits and help you tear through groups of enemies. And finally, there's the Wind Knight, an acrobatic spear fighter who feels like a whirlwind on the battlefield. You can take the aerial path, soaring into the air and detonating huge bursts of damage, or the grounded path, weaving fast combos with almost no downtime. So that's the lineup. Tank to keep the fights under control, supports to heal and buff the group, and a wide spread of damage dealer ranging from ranged spellcaster to acrobatic melee fighters. Each class has two specializations, so the depth is definitely there once you dive in, but this should give you a quick idea of how they all play without spoiling every single detail. Now let's shift gears and talk about what you'll actually be doing as you explore the world. The overworld in Star Resonance isn't just a backdrop, it's packed with activities that directly tie into your progression. One of the biggest systems you'll be spending time with is life skilling. This isn't just some optional side content, it plays a major role in your character development. The key here is learning how to manage your energy and use it effectively, since that resource really determines how much value you're putting out of these systems. We'll definitely be diving deeper into this in a future guide, but for now, just know that
alright, I think I have a backup guide that will help us go over that stuff, so we're good.
A core activity. You'll be tracking down creatures across the world, and defeating them doesn't just feel rewarding in the moment, it directly feeds into your character growth and progression.
Okay.
Pair that with the game's collectibles and open world upgrades, and you have another layer of exploration that actually makes your character stronger. These aren't just cosmetic rewards either, we're talking about tangible upgrades like enhanced gliding, faster sprinting, and smoother traversal.
Okay, mobility upgrades.
Things that make exploring the world feel better the longer you play. And of course, no MMO experience can be complete complete without the encounters. You can expect world bosses, high pressure farming challenges, and plenty of ways to test yourself in the open world whenever you're ready. The big takeaway here is that Star Resonance really lean into making exploration feel rewarding. There's a ton to do, plenty of adventure around every corner, and almost everything you engage with give you meaningful ways to make your character a tad bit better.
I'm not hating.
Time in Star
That
Resonance,
weeklies.
and that's the daily and weekly activities.
Yo.
At first glance, it might feel overwhelming, but once you settle into a rhythm, it all clicks together. The foundation of your daily grind come from the Bureau commissions. These are short tasks scattered across the open world and instant-based content, and completing them will earn you activity merit. These merits translate directly into daily rewards and progressions for your character, and on top of that, you'll be able to rack up honor coins, which are crucial currency in the game. You'll use them from everything from upgrading your gear to buying cosmetic items that make your character stand out. But Bureau commissions are just a start. Dungeons are going to be one of the primary activities, and these are repeatable, not just daily, but as
because you
often
can
as
trade
want.
in this game
Early
too.
on, some of these will be locked behind timers, but as the week goes on, more opportunities open up, letting you target farm gear upgrades. It's here where your progression starts to take shape, because while missions and dungeons will reward you with gear, you also need to craft your own. That's where life skilling comes in. Using gathering and crafting, you'll fine-tune your equipment, push your affixes in the right direction, and really elevate your build. This is why the daily and weekly system matter so much. They feed directly into your long-term character growth. Now, in addition to this, there's the Stymon
Makes
Vault
sense.
that slowly but surely unlocks over time, putting both your gear and your team to the test. Think of this as like an endless tower. The further you climb, the harder it gets, and with each floor,
Good
offering
power
stronger
testers.
enemies and better rewards to advance your character and your progression. But that's not all. There's a whole layer of guild-focused activities that tie directly into your day-to-day gameplay. You'll be able to participate in guild farming, taking down massive guild bosses, and tackling a wide variety of group-focused objectives that not only reward you personally, but also strengthen your guild as a whole. These
Now let's
activities
see
are
if it's.
designed to give you more ways to
It
earn
would suck if
resources,
they're
secure
only
upgrades, and feel
completable
connected
if
to a
you
larger
did it in a
community as you
group.
push forward. From there, you'll eventually unlock the trial path, a system directly tied to your talents and class skills. Completing levels in the trial path will open up more passive effects and further shape the way your character plays, give you an additional layer of long-term progression on top of everything else. All of this might sound like a mountain of systems, and it is, but the beauty is how quickly it becomes second nature. The first few days might feel a little overwhelming, but soon enough you'll find yourself in a loop, logging in,
It looks
knocking out
like
dailies, farming
fucking
dungeons,
World of
crafting
Warcraft
gears,
by
climbing
anime.
the
I'm not
vaults,
gonna lie
and
to you.
slowly but surely unlocking the true potential of your character.
I'm not gonna
And
lie.
there you have it, a full look at the world of Blue Protocol Star Resonance, from the story and the characters to all the activities and systems that will keep you busy for hours on end. Just keep in mind, here on the channel, I'll be putting together in-depth guides breaking down all these individual activities, so you have a much clearer idea of what to expect when you finally jump into Blue Protocol Star Resonance at launch on the 9th. If you don't want to miss out, make sure you are subscribed so you catch all these upcoming videos. Of course, I'll be live streaming here on YouTube at launch, so feel free to stop by
everybody,
and
bro,
ask
everybody's
anything.
gonna be
And
on
as always,
live
thank
with
you
this
so much
game.
for
I'm
watching,
telling you,
and I'll see you in
it's
the
a
next
social
Blue
game, so
Protocol
I
Star
wouldn't,
Resonance video
I
very
wouldn't
soon.
doubt it. But bruh, it notified Crunchyroll users to get a bonus if they pre-registered for this. So I'm like, I'm expecting it to be pretty hype, pretty active. It could expose a problem if this game does flop though in the gaming industry, and I'm talking about there being multiple competitions of this style of game. You get what I'm saying?
So remember Blue Protocol? It flopped hard, servers went down, and most people assumed that was the end of it.
Sight.
But here we are in 2025, and suddenly it's back. Why? Because the rights to the game were bought by Shanghai Bokura, who completely rebuilt it from the ground up and are relaunching it under a new name, somewhat, Blue Protocol Star Resonance. And this isn't just a rebrand, this is basically a Realm Reborn situation. It's a new game built on the ashes of the old one, and launch is right around the corner on October 9th. The global launch, that is. Now, if you've seen my MMO coverage before, you know I like to break these overviews down systematically. I finally solidified the skeleton of these overviews into what I call the 12 pillars that I will be using for this video and every
So we got
MMO
classes,
overview video like this
customization,
one going forward.
monetization, leveling,
I think by following the structure, I'll be able to
So
cover
this is why I
everything that
chose
is
this girl's
expected
video
out of a
so we
good
can cover
overview
these
video.
other aspects
If you've never
of the
played Blue
game.
Protocol back in the day, don't worry, this isn't a direct comparison video. I played the original Blue Protocol, and I've been playing on the Chinese version as well, which is the version that we're going to get in the West. So I am going to draw a couple of parallels, but aside from that, we're just good to jump into it. So let's start with the first pillar, classes and combat. Blue Protocol Star Resonance features a familiar action combat system that feels right at home within the genre.
Yeah,
The combat itself
mages,
features non-targeted
healers,
action combat with the
tanks.
ability to iframe attacks. When the original version launched, it featured only 5 playable classes and all of them were DPS. Star Resonance expand that roster to 8 classes now and introduces a proper Trinity system, which means the game now includes healers, tanks, and DPS, giving
Proper
group content
Trinity.
much more structure and variety. Each class also comes with 2 sub-specializations, which can be swapped between freely. These don't completely redefine the class identity, but they do change its playstyle, similar to Lost Ark's class engravings. There's no penalty or limitation for switching between them, so players can experiment as much as they want.
Alright.
In terms of build progression, players start with a base passive tree that's filled out entirely through normal play. Once that's done, the secondary passive tree unlocks, and that's where class customization actually begins. This tree requires a bit more thought since it allows you to tailor your bonuses to match your preferred playstyle. Nothing in the system is permanent, however, so you can freely adjust your choices
Restat
at any time. For active abilities, each class has a selection of skills to choose from, and players can equip 4 of them on their hotbar. Alongside those, you also have your basic attacks and your ultimate ability. Skills can be leveled up using the standard in-game silver currency to increase their power. They can also be further enhanced with class-specific cards, which provide an additional layer of progression. These cards can be earned through many different sources, including in-game vendors, events, and general content rewards, and each skill can be advanced up to a specific cap. This part might get a groan out of some of you, but the game does feature auto-combat. Your character will automatically kill all enemies within a small circle around itself, but with zero rhyme or reason. As you can see, the moment I turn it on, it just rips the alt and imagines on one target. There are optional side quests that ask you to kill a few dozen mobs for some rewards, and in my mind, that's the kind of thing that this auto combat system is for. Put your character next to a bunch of mobs and let the game face roll all of your skills while you go get a drink. In raids and dungeons, it won't do mechanics for you or walk you out of the fire or out of a puddle. It'll let you die. It's there purely to mash your buttons for you, off cooldown on the closest red target. Just like the old Blue Protocol, you can play every class on a single character. However, unlike before, Star Resonance now allows you to carry over some of your progress even when switching classes. You keep your overall character level, your base passive tree, your gear, although your gear stats might not always suit your new class, and you'll still need to redo certain aspects, specifically the class advancement cards and skill levels. Reinvesting in those can become expensive at higher levels, though it's manageable early on. So don't be afraid to experiment early while it is still cheap, so it only gets expensive later on when you get into the realm of
more
actual dedication to the class and not just
when you
trying
invest
it out.
into one.
Your progress on the advanced passive tree also carries over in part. The regular talent points remain unlocked, but the major passive nodes, the ones that define your build, require arcane inscriptions tied to your class's archetype. These inscriptions are earned naturally through regular play in various means, but one of the sources is called the Trial Road. It's a solo tower mode that provides arcane inscriptions and a variety of other rewards. Each set of trials is designed around your role. DPS classes focus on clearing enemies under a certain amount of time, and healers have to maintain their NPC party's health above a certain HP percentage for the duration of the fight. Customization. If you played the original Blue Protocol, character customization in Star Resonance will look very familiar. It's essentially the same system, but expanded with a few more options across the board. You'll find wider selection of hairstyles, eye shapes, dye variations, stuff like that. New teeth. You get shark teeth now. Both male and female characters can choose between 2 body types, one that's smaller and more lanky, and another that's taller and bulkier. There are also a few height and body proportion sliders available, but the changes they make are relatively subtle, enough to personalize your character without breaking the overall style of the game, so we're not going to have a repeat of the Chrono Odyssey situation in this. And of course, the good news, classes are not gender locked because you can play every class on the same character.
That makes sense. I mean, why not?
Or would that make them gender locked? Because all the classes are on the same character? I don't know. Leveling. If you played the original Blue Protocol, this is where I have some genuinely good news. The old adventure journal system is gone! In Star Resonance, leveling follows a much more traditional style of just following a main quest. The entire story has been completely revamped. It features different characters, a different narrative, and new cutscenes. Everything's completely different. That being said,
beta players,
this section also contains one of my 2 major concerns with the game. The main story quest is time-gated. On launch day, you'll be able to progress through the story only up to a certain point, after which you'll need to wait until the daily reset to continue. If you've ever played Crystal of Atlan, it works similarly, although it's slightly better here because Star Resonance doesn't have an energy system attached to it. It's purely a timed lockout for the main story quest. The reasoning behind the system is to narrow down the progression gap between hardcore players and casual players, whether you see that as a positive or a negative.
I mean, they kind of did that for Tower of Fantasy, but it wasn't like detrimental. Like, it didn't ruin my gameplay experience. And then the daily, like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're not gonna expect to see people always on this one when Ananta comes out. This is where she kind of goes over PvP.
Let's go over the different types of PvE activities available. Don't worry, I won't spoil specific story moments or mechanics, so your sense of discovery is safe with me. Before listing the content, I need to emphasize something that's both my own opinion and one that's widely shared by players who have tried both versions. The dungeons in Star Resonance are a lot more fun this time around. They're faster to complete, they're more engaging, they're much more streamlined. There's cooperation between party members, there's environmental interaction to resolve mechanics, or careful attention to debuffs. All of that is required to actually resolve mechanics, and it goes far beyond than just not standing in a puddle. Even from the very first dungeon you unlock, you'll notice that it expects coordination and awareness. The game doesn't treat early dungeons as mindless tutorials and lower level players as babies. They're enjoyable and rewarding right from the start. Overall, the quality and feel of the PvE content are significantly improved compared to the old Brew protocol, in my opinion, and that of a lot of others. The majority of PvE content revolves around party dungeons, and there are quite a few of them. Each dungeon comes with 3 difficulty settings: normal, hard, and master. As you'd expect, the higher difficulties
normal, hard, so we already got still pass. Let's go.
Better loot. You can choose to run these dungeons in several ways. You can form your own party, you can queue up and matchmake with random players, or you can bring NPC companions into the run if you want to try out and get a feel for the mechanics before actually doing it with real people. You can run these dungeons as many times as you like, and even the very first one can drop meaningful gear upgrades for you. Loot is RNG based, with each dungeon dropping items of specific gear slots. The drop rates are generous. It's quite rare to walk away empty-handed.
Alright, that's good.
If you do end up dropping something that you don't need one too many times, you can dismantle it for material that you can then use at an NPC to exchange for specific gear pieces that you're actually looking for. There's also another party-based dungeon called Unstable Space. This one drops gear and materials used for progression. It's on the easier side and automatically scales its difficulty based on your party size and equipment score, and you can complete this one twice a day. Beyond that, there's a 20-player raid available once per day. It rewards you with bound shop currency and additional currency that can be spent in a raid-specific shop filled with various useful items. I know this sounds like a lot of stuff to do per day, but I mentioned earlier that this stuff is a lot more streamlined now, so even though I'm saying that it's very fun, overall, these are very, very fast runs, so don't worry, don't let it overload you. Another major piece of PvE content is the team-based tower, an instanced activity that gives completion rewards every few sets of floors all the way to floor 60. The tower progresses gradually over time, with new floors unlocking periodically before eventually resetting as part of seasonal rotation. This one's worth noting because it requires actual gear progression, making it more of an endgame oriented challenge, so you're not going to be touching that one until a little bit later. But it's something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's
outside of instance content, the open world is full of elite bosses that can drop legendary gear upon defeat. Every day, players receive 2 keys that can be used for extra loot when killing these elites.
Every day
Those key-based rewards include materials used to craft imagines, which are powerful skills that either transform your character or summon the creature that imagine represents. The benefits of these imagines vary, ranging from straight damage bursts to shields, heals, buffs, anything. There's a lot of them. You can still farm elites without using keys, but the drop chance for their gear when you do that is quite low, making this a great long-term grind for dedicated players who enjoy min-maxing, because this is not necessary to do, but it is something to do if you're somebody who enjoys min-maxing your stats. And that's not even all the PvE content the game has. There are guild bosses, there's hunting journals, there's story rewind solo dungeons that grant one-time rewards.
Yeah, there's there's a lot of completionist
I won't go into those in detail. They're smaller in scale, but still contribute to your overall progression. Now let's talk about PvP. There isn't any. It's a purely PvE game. Alright, moving on. Gearing systems. There are several systems in Star Resonance that contribute to your vertical progression.
See, bro, that was clickbait. I really thought there was going to be PvP.
System is completely gone.
I mean, Tower of Fantasy
is much simpler. It starts with a guaranteed success rate at lower levels, and the percentage slowly decreases as you continue upgrading. The good news is that, at least for now, the lowest it can drop to is 50%.
If I'm feeling PvP, I'll just hop on that.
Is a coin flip.
But it doesn't make this a bad game.
Is that enhancement now applies to gear slots, not to the individual pieces of gear. So for example, if you upgrade your weapon to +4 and later on you get a new weapon that's better than that one, and you equip that new weapon inherits the +1 enhancement. The same logic applies to all of your gear pieces, your helmet, your chest, everything, meaning that your progression is never wasted when you find an upgrade. The system that actually affects the gear itself is called reforging. Every piece of equipment drops with a quality level that can range up to a maximum of 100. You use special reforged stones to increase that quality value until it reaches the cap for that item, improving its base stats along the way. A fantastic feature here is that when you dismantle that piece of gear, all the reforged stones you've invested into it to raise it up to the max level of quality are fully refunded. The only thing that you don't get back are the stones that you spend tapping the piece of gear after you've already maxed out the refinement level. The reason you would continue to do that is because there's one line that is RNG, and it changes every time you click.
You reset it.
So even after you reach 100% or 80% or whatever is the maximum that piece of gear is capped at, you might want to click it a couple times more just to find a better stat that fits your class or build better. Beyond enhancement and reforging, gear can also be embedded with gems that grant additional effects.
So
gems come in different rarities and can either be
these are
purchased from
just
the
different
marketplace
ways
or
they can help
crafted
you
through
become
professions.
stronger.
Each gem's main stat is predetermined by its color, while its secondary mini stat depends on its shape. But it's all within your control because you just choose which color and shape to craft, so it's not RNG. And since gems are tied to crafting and professions, it's a perfect time to move into the next section, crafting and gathering. I'll keep this section brief since it's an area that could easily fill an entire separate dedicated video, but Star Resonance features 9 professions, some focused on gathering resources and others centered on crafting items from those materials. You can unlock all 9, but you'll need to manage your mastery points, which accumulate slowly over time. Early on, that means choosing a few professions to specialize in and investing mastery there strategically. As your mastery grows, you unlock new recipes and become more efficient in both gathering and crafting. There is an energy system tied to life skilling called Focus, but you have the option of choosing whether or not you want to use it. Items gathered or crafted without using Focus will be bound to your character, meaning you can't sell them on the marketplace, though they're perfectly fine for personal use. If you want to craft a gem to equip for yourself, you can just do
Let's see what that marketplace looking like.
Items made with Focus, of course, on the other hand, are tradable, allowing you to profit from your work. However, recipes that are unlocked through mastery points always require Focus to craft. They're even called Focus recipes. This naturally limits the flow of high-value items and materials into the market and helps stabilize their worth. There are no tools to manage, and resource nodes are easy to track across the world, keeping the system simple and accessible. Overall,
Wuthering Waves does
plays
this
an important
perfectly.
role in
How
Star
easy you can
Resonance.
find
Across
the
its 9
required
professions, you
resource.
can craft things like costume dyes, housing furniture, gear, enhancement materials, toys, food buffs, consumables, and of course the gems that we mentioned earlier. As you set out to gather materials in the world, you will traverse the world of Star Resonance, so let's talk about that next. The world of Star Resonance is far more seamless this time around. Loading screens only appear when moving between very, very large areas or traveling to and from the main hub city. As large as the world is, it's designed with plenty of teleport nodes, so the game doesn't force you to explore on foot if you don't want to. As you travel, you'll find treasure chests.
So we can warp. That's good.
These come in different rarities and reward you with useful
Fast
items.
travel.
Your
That's
monster
like
log
a
also provides
mandatory
rewards
thing
for
you should
defeating a
always
certain number
have.
of each enemy type, ranging from smaller mobs to world bosses, which respawn regularly throughout the world. Traversal is smooth and accessible. Beyond your mount, you can use multiple jumps to reach distant areas, run along walls, dodge in midair, and glide across open spaces. These actions, some of these consume stamina, but only in small amounts, so it's pretty rare to completely run out of stamina unless you're in combat.
Because
Visually,
people
the game
hate that
retains much
stamina
of the
feature.
artistic charm
That's
that defined the
why
original Blue Protocol. However, Shanghai
Neverness to
Bokura slightly
Everness
adjusted
took that
the
up.
art style to make the game a little bit more colorful and a little bit more bubbly. Now let's talk about the endgame loop. What is your daily and weekly checklist, so to speak, going to look like once you've settled
We already
into the
got
game?
Warframe
A big part of the
weeklies.
section overlaps with what we discussed in the PvE content section, of course. Since Star Resonance is actually purely a PvE-focused game, a large portion of your gear and character progression will come from running those dungeons and raids. Those activities make up a significant part of your daily and weekly gameplay loop. Outside of that, though, you'll have 3 daily commission quests, your standard dailies. You can complete 3 per day, but if you miss a day, they stack up to a maximum of 9, allowing you to catch up over a 3-day window. These commissions are simple and convenient. They teleport you directly to the objective, and completing them rewards you with a currency that can be spent in a shop filled with both cosmetic and progression-related items. Next is your daily activity menu. which will feel familiar to anyone who's played gacha games. It's a list of various tasks, things like completing dungeons, gathering something, or even
doing your
using a
daily
specific
stuff.
emote. As you complete
Fortnite
these
got
tasks, you
it.
earn additional rewards. The list of options is broad enough to where you will very likely just complete it naturally every single day just by playing the game. Between your dailies, your daily dungeons, and your world boss keys, that covers most of what you'll be doing on a typical day. On the weekly side of things, your guild will have lockout bosses that can be
Ooh, we
completed
gonna
for
have,
extra rewards.
hey,
I'll go
we
over
gonna have
guilds,
the
more
guild Soul
details later.
Society
You'll also be
enters.
contributing to Pioneer Commendation. It's a system that tracks your activity across PvE and
protocol.
life-skilling content. You will complete these passively if you play actively because they are also very broad and general, and when the weekly reset hits, you can claim a selection of gear and material rewards. It functions similarly to the weekly mission board systems, like in World of Warcraft or Throne of Liberty upon weekly reset. This is mainly a cherry on top to reward you for your hard work the past
Right,
week.
just playing
This
more.
isn't an exhaustive list of everything in the game, but it gives you a clear idea of what your daily routine will look like. Star Resonance also includes a recommended gameplay menu that conveniently lists all the content you can engage with, organized by
Yeah.
lockout type and category.
Every
and as
game
you've
has
seen,
this.
There's a lot to
Don't
do.
get confused by it
You
though
can
with
choose
the
to raid the
UI.
caravan.
Expect to see some gameplay and a lot of footage of this tomorrow. And let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. But that's pretty much it. I just wanted to react and check this out. Like always, you guys keep up the grind, be safe, and I'll see you guys next time.